Welcome back to the channel, everyone, and welcome back to another Kingdom manga chapter review. This time we are going to be discussing the content within chapter 537, A Great General's View. But before that, if you have yet to check out my review of chapter 536, which I did last week, please do. A link to the video will be in the description down below. Anyways, with that said, let us begin chapter 537 of Kingdom. So in the last chapter of Kingdom, we left off with Ouhon's men being attacked by the Chogaro army, and Ouhon suddenly coming up with a plan of strategy that could make a turnabout upon the battlefield, and in chapter 537, we see exactly just that. Ouhon's first plan of strategy is to separate the Gyokuho unit and head to the right, in the complete opposite direction of the Gakuei and Chogaro armies. While the Chogaro army anticipated this, they also thought that Ouhon might try to make a more headstrong approach, and that was to punch through the Chogaro army and escape into the Akko army behind them. Now, while this plan of action could have possibly worked, when you are being attacked by two armies which are essentially making a wall in front of you, preventing you to get back to your reinforcements, it would be a suicide mission. Only a select few might be able to pull this off, so basically Ouhon's numbers would have crippled twice the amount before even getting back to the Akko army, so Ouhon's plan of retreat was simply the best option. However, the Chogaro army is still hellbent on catching up to Ouhon and his men, so they sent out Josho and Jorin, a cavalry that is fastly approaching the Gyokuho unit's rear. Despite this, the Chogaro army suddenly then realizes that Ouhon isn't amongst the right, but instead, him with a squad of less than 1,000 soldiers, 600 to be exact, break away upon the left side of them, in the complete opposite direction from the main bulk of the Gyokuho unit. Now, what the Chogaro army expects out of Ouhon's plan is for him to break away to the left side and form up with the Akko army, as Ouhon's safety is of the utmost importance. To counter this, the Chogaro army sets up a wall of soldiers to block their advance from forming up with the Akko army. However, the wall ultimately fails in time to stop Ouhon's advance, but the Chogaro army has another trick up their sleeve, and that is to attack their flanks when they begin to turn around to reform with the Akko army. Though the Chogaro army had planned ahead, they soon find out that Ouhon does not loop around back to the Akko army, but instead remains to head straight, backing off from the entire battlefield. From here on out, Ouhon and his men are heading directly into Zhao territory with no allies in sight, and with the Gyakuei's unit in pursuit, as well as dodging oncoming arrows and a Zhao cavalry heading right towards them. Things are not looking good for Ouhon's group, as even the Chogaro army considers Ouhon's plan of tactics a suicide mission. I mean, we even have some of Ouhon's men second guessing as to what Ouhon's true plan was in the first place. But then Ouhon then announces to his unit to go onto the offensive from here on out and dodge the incoming cavalry coming toward them, as the target they will be hitting is the weakest point of the Zhao's line formation. And from here, Hara-sensei explains to us some of the fundamentals to warfare and what exactly Ouhon was planning to accomplish in the first place. Hara explains that in warfare in this age revolved around the line formation of the armies. Both sides would spread out their forces, and battle itself would involve a head-on clash between these two armies, which is what we have seen throughout Kingdom. However, in warfare, the most vulnerable part is the rear of the line formation. If the line formation were to be struck in its rear, it would be pincered from the front and the back, and so reserves are stationed at the rear solely to prevent this. The other weakness that the line formation has is not only its rear, but also its edge. If you pincer one of the two edges from the outside, the whole line will begin a systematic collapse from the outside in. And in this image right here, this is actually where we begin to see some of the reserves in Ouhon's rear begin to detach themselves from the pack to block away the oncoming threats that are trying to stop Ouhon's advance. So right here, Ouhon is desperately trying to attempt to avoid everything he possibly can while still maintaining the full speed to go after his true target. And here, Chogaro finally realizes Ouhon's true aim, and he himself, the enemy, is struck with admiration, and it is revealed that Ouhon's true aim was the weakest point at the left edge of Banaji's line formation, directly opposite of Ouhon's original starting point. So what Ouhon essentially did right here was that he completely looped around the Banaji army to provide assistance to the Akko army. With the Akko army realizing what Ouhon's plan of action was, Akko responds accordingly, and Akko declares that everyone upon the left flank to assist Ouhon while he occupies Banaji's main unit. Now Akko himself states that thanks to Ouhon, all plans that they devised to take out the Banaji army have gone up in smoke. But if they are successful in this attack, then Shin will be able to cripple a blow into the Banaji army where they will be unable to pose a threat for the rest of the day. A big risk that is literally a double-edged sword, but it is a risk that Shin will have to take if they are to have an advantage in the war. And what Ouhon proved in this chapter is that no matter how dire the circumstance, no matter how much your back is against the wall, no matter how much it seems impossible, there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. But in order to reach that light, risks and sacrifices will have to be made. And if you are successful, well, you could just turn everything around. So will we see Ouhon and the Akko army come out on top in the coming chapters, or will the Banaji army be able to retaliate? The Chigara army and Gakue armies are going to have to advance quickly in order to provide assistance for the Banaji army if they are to fight back. At this time, we are still unaware as to when Shin will be making an appearance again, as in back in chapter 536, Osen has stationed Shin somewhere else, so who knows what Shin will be doing next. But for all we know, maybe he could possibly make a surprise attack and provide assistance for Ouhon and the Akko army, but we will just have to wait and see. Overall, I thought this was a decent chapter of Kingdom, and again, I'm loving the focus between Shin, Moten, and Ouhon in this arc. I still would like to see the perspectives of all sides of the war, like what is going on with Yotanwa's unit, again, but there is only so much you can focus on in this type of series, so I can't really complain. Ouhon and Moten have been proving themselves time and time again that they have just what it takes to become a great general. But if Ouhon is to earn the title of general temporarily, possibly for this war, then this attack that he is providing for the Akko army better turn out successful. So with that said, I hope you all enjoyed this review of Kingdom. Most of you on Twitter suggested that I do a review for this week's chapter, so I hope you enjoyed it. I will put up another poll next week to see what you guys would like to see for the next chapter for either a live reaction or a review. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below what you all thought of this video. Be sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed, and if you would like to see more, consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for your support. I will catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.